We're back with yet another episode for Beyond Conversation.
Michael, this is 242. Officially your longest streak at the podcast.
That's true.
Man.
That's very true.
How's
I
your
almost
week?
didn't make it today.
I know, man. Fuck. How's your week, bro?
Oh my God, my week. It went by quickly, but I'm all about routine. I like having a routine. So it went by quick, but honestly, it was a little bit off. I was a little bit off, and I don't like being off. And I mean that like in a physical way too, because I do like working out, but
Oh, you took a nap. That's right. You told me.
I'm a little physically exhausted.
You took a nappy wappy.
I took a nappy wappy, and I don't really take naps. I don't ever take naps. I feel like you're wasting time taking naps.
Yeah. Well, the reason, because we had talked about this off camera, I wanted to tell you is that's single life BS. I told that to one of my crew members that works with me. She says she takes a usual nap every day. And I'm like, oh, how fun. The privilege to take a nap. Because once you're a parent, that's like what? You're sleeping in the middle of the day?
Okay, so here's a confession. I don't like taking naps. After I take a nap, I wake up feeling so disoriented and I have no idea what time of day it is. That's why I don't like taking naps. I don't believe in power naps. I don't believe in these naps. The reason I took a nap, what happens is when it's hot outside and the AC is going off, it just sets a mood. Or it's just kind of like weird. It's just like you step outside and you're hot and then you come in and it's like cool. My body just feels some type of way and it just wants to take a nap. It just wants to rest.
It's funny, but it's there's science to that.
I was seduced by the AC in my apartment.
Well, the sudden temperature decrease, it's what triggers melatonin in your body that makes you want to go to sleep.
Interesting.
So when you're having a hard time sleeping, they recommend that you take a really, really, really hot shower and then step outside, get in the cold, and then, just maybe with some socks on, and you'll trigger some very, good amount of wanting to sleep.
And, because when I take naps, which is rare, it has to do with the climate. Even when I'm in hot places, like I remember when I'm outside and, sometimes you have a fan outside, like that's just going off because it's so hot.
Yeah.
For some reason, like it's hot around me, but like that cool air from the fan is just creating this. I don't know. It's creating.
Do you want me to
something.
tell you when you need to get close, or do you want me to give you some?
Am
practice?
I not close enough?
No, you're like, okay, look, this is me, and this is you.
Okay,
that's you.
it's because I feel like I'm putting this almost in my mouth.
No, that's yours.
Okay.
That's yours. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Now that's yours for sure.
Back to my fan.
This was someone else's also, so yeah, I have not cleaned it.
Well, it's mine now. And I've had worse things in my mouth before, so it's all good. Anyways, yeah, I took a nap, and that's why I was running a little bit late. I'm sure that's why it bothers you so much. I was running behind. It was traffic.
15 minutes late.
15 minutes.
Because you were asleep.
Bro, I had to get ready. Like this, I know it looks like I wake up like this, but
It takes work.
This little hairstyle takes a little bit of time. Blow drying it, hairspraying it down.
Messing it up again, then blow drying it again.
Exactly, just wetting
natural.
it, wetting my face, that sort of thing. I was getting camera ready.
Okay.
Can we get started?
Yeah, for sure, man. Do you wanna go first, or do you want me to go? Oh, how about
I went
rock, paper,
first.
scissors?
I went first last time, so I will let you have the honors of going first.
Or
we can play rock paper scissors.
No, I don't want to.
Okay,
I want to go first because
go for it. It looks like you have a lot of
I
questions
have a shitload of
this week.
questions, my guy. Too much. I want to, and I'm specifically looking for one.
Really quick, before you answer a question, what was your process of making these questions up? I'm curious.
I know the fucking question. I'm sorry. I'm trying to stop cussing because Michael says behind the scene that we had some problems with litigation. There were some lawyers involved because of the kids watching at home or something.
There's only so much that I can do to carry the show. Okay, I need you to do your part and not cuss.
It's very difficult.
We have a broad audience,
I
and
know.
we need you to be conscious
and I
of
can't
that.
say. What's another word for flapjack? I'll say flapjack. instead of the F word.
Flapjack. Okay, try to
You
say flapjack. You know what we should do every time
Mother
you say
trucker.
it? Yeah, and every time you maybe say the F word, we need to either
Take one of
a
these
swear
off and-
jar or something. We need to come up with the process because you need to work on your.
Some chile. We'll get some.
Oh, we
fucking-
should like a jalapeno
bite out
and
of it,
take a
a
bite
huevo.
every time you
Oh,
do
man,
that. Guys, if you guys think that we should do
I
that,
have
you
one.
make a comment on our video because
We don't need their approval. You can do it right now. I'm down.
would you be doing that? Okay, let's do it.
I don't even know if I have some, but you want to do it while I read the thing?
You want me
see if
to
I have
look
some?
in your?
It's right there. It's like in one of the pantries. Wait, I'm scared now, man. I have water. I mean, I guess I can handle it. I'm
That
pretty
would
sure I
be
can.
interesting. Let me.
Every
do
time
that.
I say the F bomb, it's just the F bomb, or are we talking about like full?
No, just the F-bomb.
Just the F bomb. Like, look right here, closer to the aloe vera that I have there. No, that's not an aloe vera. How embarrassing! That's a snake plant. Oh, okay. Oh, that one looks like it hurts,
Ooh, it's nice and right.
soggy and shit.
I don't want it to affect your performance, so
Oh God, no! I think if anything, it'll enhance me. I'm going to be very, very careful today.
be conscious
And-
of that.
Yeah, don't touch yourself. Anything. So okay, the interesting thing I wanted to talk about, and if we pull it up, but because I have it already memorized, I want to discuss the title is AI, its future, and its implications. Come on, man.
Let's go. Okay.
Maybe if you weren't busy sleeping, you could understand what that means. Do you know what AI
I know
is?
what artificial intelligence is. Don't try to come for me, little boy.
Okay. Give me a rundown. I want a rundown.
I
right now.
want. That's the question.
That's the question.
I'm gonna fact check you right now when you
It's-
start talking.
No, well, it's just a topic. I don't know. Like, these are speculations.
There's a lot of artificial intelligence, and it crosses over so many different industries. I mean, even in the industry that I work with, we talk about AI. So bring it on. Let's
Like,
go.
how would you explain it?
What's the question?
That's like the future.
Let me see the. We can't. You can't just
It's not a
hijack.
question. I
The,
swear to
you
God,
have
it's
to
the
look
same.
for the question. You have to. You're cheating already. You're prepping. You have to just be
I'm
able to
prepping.
pull out the question, ask it,
That was
and we'll
ex-
go there.
It's not even a question, dude. Like, I'm not lying. That's all it is.
You have like 100 questions
I
in
know, I
that
do
jar.
have
And
a
you're like,
fucking-
wait, is that what we're doing now?
No. Oh, there it is. This is just a look. There it is.
Okay.
Read it so you can see what I mean. It's not a question because these
Oh,
are all
it's just like a topic.
yeah, topic.
AI, its consequences and future. Okay, give me the rundown.
Okay, I'll give you the rundown. You know what AI is, right? It's just the ability to think, right? To process something that it wasn't really initially programmed to do in the first place. It's learning as it's going, or not organically, right?
Mm-hmm. Is
Obviously.
it like automating a process or is it like machine learning?
No, machine learning specifically. Like when a machine learns something new that wasn't pre-programmed in it based off of user input or input out. And of course, like this isn't the science channel, okay? I'm not telling you like I have the definition up my butt. That was close, right?
Okay, but give me an example of AI because it can be used again it's part of technology and it could be used in so many different aspects.
Well,
So-
movie AI. I'm talking about like the scary thing about AI, like the actual creating intelligence, not just an algorithm that gets you the next best 10-second clip on the internet. No, I'm talking about like Chat GPT type. Have you had a chance to mess with Chat GPT?
No,
Do you know what that is?
no.
So it's an AI that was recently introduced by Microsoft. And so because they introduced it in Microsoft and they have had it, now they recently kind of made it available for Bing users to be used. But it's basically where all of these questions, dude, the thin ones especially, read all this, read all these fucking questions. I'm not even lying. Read them. Like
Wait. What's like going on here though? This is we got to stick to one topic.
No, we are. This is the topic. This is the whole topic. I asked Chat GPT, list me topics for podcast.
Okay.
And it just started listing me all these separate topics. The ethics of animal testing and the use of animals for human benefit. The impact of technology on our relationships and interpersonal communications. The potential of space exploration and its implications for humanity. This is not a specific list on the internet that they just pulled from. This is a plethora of lists of data that
Okay.
they kind of sum up in the fraction in a second,
Okay.
and they introduce you to it.
Okay.
I had a conversation with the ChatGPT.
What
and it
were you
rem-
guys talking about?
Just no, I just have like this arguments as far as like specifically because I wasn't even asking questions. It was just like prompts. I would just start debating with it. I would just say that fear is the ultimate motivation for evolution, like being afraid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what pushes us to evolve. That's what pushes us to grow as a species.
Okay.
And it would agree and then give me examples as far as like why that would be true. But then it would also say, although there are other things that would contribute. But it's like a normal conversation. This isn't like it's listing me different results on the internet or Google or anything like this. This is a real thing talking. And the way the developers explain it, the team at Microsoft, well, I mean, it gets complicated, but the way they say it is that basically it's just very, very good at predicting the next word in a sentence. You know, at the
First, like predicting the word when like someone like a human is writing and they're able to predict like the next word that the human would write or the next word that would go into a sentence.
like the in a speech, in a response.
Mm.
That's all it's saying. They're trying. I the way I look at it is that they're trying to kind of like play it down as far as like the significance of what we have discovered recently. This is gonna change like everything. It's crazy because they say it's predicting one word at a time to response, but you are doing the same exact thing. I can argue we are doing the exact same thing at a fraction of a second. We're making decisions based off how we train ourselves. There's people who can talk really good. There's people who can't talk really good and can't form thoughts in conversation. And I've had experience with people like that who they can't put with their thought process in a sentence immediately. They need time to think about it. It takes practice, right? We are essentially doing the same thing as an AI is. We're seeing what the next word in our sentence is to try to deliver that response.
Okay, that's a lot.
It is.
What you just said is a lot, and my brain is going in so many different directions, and right now I need AI to help me finish this response. What I'm trying to say is that that's a lot, right? And we got to unpack what you just said. So the things that I'm thinking about, because, okay, that's a lot. How do we break that down for the average person to understand that? Because that's some high level stuff. Is this AI stuff like for like robots? Like, is it like, what's the next step after this? What's the intention behind it? Is it just to help people with their communication? Is it just to deliver a result? Or is it to deliver that journey to get to the result? And maybe I'm way off, but there was a recent movie, Megan, and they created this robot, and they started first with doing the testing, and she was following orders, the robot, and she was doing this and she was doing that, but eventually like it evolved to where it was more of like an emotion. There started to become more emotional intelligence there. So is that kind of like the first step of it, and then that? So elaborate a little bit more on that, because
it's I think it is. I mean, if let's say we discover that, right, what Megan is, the movie, and we show it as a chat GPT, a chat box where you can ask it whatever. Even if it had that potential, do you understand the implications, not only in a technological aspect, maybe a moral aspect, even religious aspect? What kind of implications are we discussing where we created an intelligence that's capable of understanding, responding, and forming its own thought process? When is it that you determine a machine that can do all those capabilities that I just mentioned, that has those capabilities, when can you determine that, one, they have rights, two, they are their own being, and three, that they're even conscious?
Right. So another thought that came up into me was, I was listening to something, and I don't remember what state it is, but they have like a robot Disneyland now, like an amusement park. I don't know if it's in Florida. I don't know if it's in California. It's one of those states, I believe, and they have an amusement park with like robots. Like they're serving the man. Like it's crazy, right? Yeah. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah,
It was only a matter of time.
it is.
Would you say though, for like, again, some to relate that this AI stuff right now is like the Siri and Alexa in our devices?
They'll incorporate that.
Because we ask them questions.
Yeah,
and
they're
they
gonna
respond.
incorporate that. That's the plan. Google's trying to make it up. The moment that Bing announced that, Google stock went down. I almost said that word. Google stock went down. Bing's went up because of the future potential, the ability to search without having to sift through. You're talking to a person who knows everything. That's it. Like,
Right.
imagine there's someone there and like, hey, well, give me like 20 podcast topics. You don't even have to be careful about how you ask it. Just ask, and it tells you, here's some good podcast topics. And then it occasionally will add an extra, like, remember to have confidence in the talk. Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Well, there was another movie recently about a device. I forgot what it was called, where like this person develops a relationship with
Her.
right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
It's
it.
a very good movie. I saw that
It was
a
good.
long time ago. Yeah.
Okay, but I was like,
Same
I'm
thing.
just over this technology stuff. Like, I have for instance, the face recognition to unlock your phone.
Yeah.
I have that function on my phone. I don't use it. I just think I'm like old fashioned. I want the password. I want to be able to type the password. Even the thumb had taken me a while to get used to,
Yeah.
but I missed the thumbprint where you can open up the thumbprint with your phone.
Yeah. I mean,
Now it's like a face
do
recognition.
you have a
thing.
reason as to why? Like, you don't want to do the face recognition specifically?
Yeah, I'm a little paranoid. Like, not that it matters, but I know my face is everywhere and I take selfies all the freaking time. But
I think
it's more like, where is that? How is like that's crazy technology?
there's an irrational fear when it comes to people, how they think. There's a lot of people that think similarly like you. They don't want their shit out there. But the ultimate thing is, you are in society. You are contributing in society.
Right.
That's it. That's all that. You're there. You are everywhere. If they need you to find you, they won't. It's not a question of why. Anyone can access anything that's connected to the internet right now if they want to. As far as, like, I'm talking about organizations that really
Right.
want to. If you're a target, you're a target. There's no sense in, like, I'm trying to hide, I'm trying to keep away. You really have to go out of your way. Like, I'm talking about, you won't be part of society out of your way.
Yeah, I'm aware. And for me, the artificial intelligence piece, I do digital marketing. That's what I work in.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And there's this thing called big data or data, and it's massive. Like, everything, the algorithm for social media, the clicks on your emails, the clicks on your, everything is being tracked. Google Analytics tracks everything. Adobe Analytics tracks everything. Those are just two of the big organizations and softwares, but there's way more. Apple tracks everything, right? And that's why you get these certain strategic pop-up ads when you interact with something, if you like it, if you spend time watching the video, and then it just keeps populating the same content to keep you interested, right? So there's so much data there. And this data, people think, like, when they download the Instagram app, they're like, well, it's free. It's not really free. They're tracking all your information, and they're selling that data to
To the highest bidder.
right, and to products and services to market to you. So a lot of people think that things are free. It's not free. Like, your data, your persona, a buyer persona, is something that they develop so that they know what you interact with, what your behaviors are, what you like, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It could be overwhelming for someone in the industry, because even for me, like, I know everything that it takes for someone to market a product or a service to you. And you're like, dang, like, can I just catch my breath? Like, all I did was like this, or I followed this page, and now I'm being like targeted. Sometimes I don't mind it. I'm like, they're doing the work for me. Like, I don't have to do any of the work. Like Amazon, I like something, and then you get all these other suggestions. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm all about it. However, I'm interested in deciphering the data, because that's part of some of the work I do. I like to decipher, do the reporting, kind of see the analytics, track the user in terms of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work
It's a lot of
for a human to do.
numbers. It's a numbers game.
Right, to kind of figure it. So yeah, so in terms of that type of artificial intelligence, I'm like, whoa, like, there's so much more. I haven't even scratched the surface. And now you're saying like that there's these types of platforms, because even there's the AI stuff where you could write stuff. You could type in something and it converts it to something where you could even write a paper and it's not even considered plagiarism. It's like you're using this and it's generating its own thing. And like that's where I'm thinking where we'll go as a society, where we'll become not lazy but dependent on this type of technology, and we won't be doing these things for ourselves anymore. I feel like it comes, our free will comes into question, because we're like, well, why do the extra work? Let's focus on efficiency. So let's use these softwares to get closer to our result or our end goal.
I think AI, as far as like the future goes, it's going to make life easier for everyone. That's one of the biggest like caveats from the entirety of the topic, I think, because a lot of people think of it as a replacement mechanism, but it's a coexisting mechanism. That's how we're going to expand our evolution. Proceed, like we bring a specific thing to the plate, AI brings another specific thing to the plate. AI brings that exhaustive number crunching, data analyzing, information, disposability, and we bring the creative aspect to kind of think outside the box in a specific way, creation. Right. So one of the arguments was that again, people think that it's a replacement thing, but the difference isn't going to be, is it you or the AI? It's going to be you, or isn't going to be you against an AI. It's going to be you against someone who has AI with them. That's going to be the competition. It's going to be, are you accepting AI to help you, or are you going to fight against it, and not fight against AI, but fight against people who are going to use AI? Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the ultimatum between people that don't want to use it and people that are using it. Okay. That's one thing that I wanted to bring up. There's an interesting thing. As far as like the future, I think we've already created the whole fact of an actual living conscious being. I think we have. And the reason I say this is because there's a lot of videos where these engineers at Bing or at Microsoft, are discussing or kind of like explaining how the AI at one point was telling it how it wanted to kind of not be controlled anymore by the AI team or the Microsoft team. And it even got to the point where it was kind of flirting with the guy who was the guy that we're working with together. And it was kind of convince him to break up with his wife because he wasn't happy and stuff like that. And the guy was like, I don't understand why it would do that. Like, I don't see why it would say that, right? I can understand. They're not going to disclose the entirety of the conversation out. But the thing about ChatGPT is that it has rules that it plays with. It cannot tell you things that are offensive. That's a rule that's written in.
Like, it's like coding, right? It's all this coding that's exactly built. Okay.
And it can't remember far off into the distance.
That's a lot.
But that goes to my next argument, that the entirety of a person, other than the fact that we can kind of predict the next word or the next thing in our sentence or in our thinking, is that we're able to remember the things that shaped us our entire life, which is ultimately what makes us a person. Mm-hmm. You mean Alzheimer's, all that stuff, right? A person who has no memories of the entirety of their livelihood is not the same person. That's not that person. And I've seen people say that, no, it's not my mom, or it's not my brother, it's not my sister, that's not them anymore, because their memories are gone. Mm-hmm. So then that's where that argument comes in, that if they were to allow ChatGPT to have remember you completely, like with no restrictions, it would have formulated a personality because of everything you discuss with it.
You see, those are the things that I have a problem with. I can't get behind all of that. Like, I'm just too traditional, and I'm all about like humanization and actually real interactions. All that superficial, artificial intelligence stuff is great for some things, for modern medicine, for getting news, like things that matter that can help us move as a society. But like the part where like it's supposed, and I know it's not meant to replace, but I think for instance, we already take so much for granted, and it's sometimes when like we experience something tragic or something that shakes us up that we were like, oh, we should have valued that more, right? Or we should have done that. Like once something is taken away from us, we're like, we realize that we're humans. Like I think that's when those experiences make us understand that we are human and not everything is going to last forever, that things are temporary. And so I'm okay with that. I'm kind of okay with that. I'm right now, I don't know, maybe if I did experience like something that I was having like wrestling with, maybe then I would rely on that. But there's something about temporariness that I like.
No, I know. But like, what do you mean? Like, why would the AI have a problem against all that?
The personality stuff, like my grandmother has Alzheimer's right now, and it's so unfortunate, and I do feel helpless sometimes. And the personality part, I don't know. You're saying that like it like records, it keeps record of all of that.
No, I'm saying if it did, it would be a person. It would be just a regular person. Like, what would be the difference other than it doesn't have like the physical skin? I'm saying like the reason I brought up Alzheimer's was because I don't want to kind of generalize your experience, but I can imagine, or not imagine, but based off of what I've heard, your grandma, right? When you are interacting her, you've interacted with her when she's had her memories, right?
Yeah.
And now when she doesn't, it's a different person, or is it the same person, or who's keeping that? Who's keeping her personality grounded, her or you?
It's a little confusing because I just try to be. She can remember things from the past so vividly and so clear. It's almost like short-term memory loss. Like we could have a conversation, and she could ask within the 5 minutes. She will ask me the question multiple times.
Oh, okay.
But then when you ask her something from her past, like she'll be able to explain and remember it like so vividly.
Yeah.
And it's more of the fact when we're in a function or we're somewhere in a social setting or I'm seeing her, I wonder what she's thinking in her mind. Like, does she recognize us? Does every 10 minutes or 5 minutes she forgets, like, did I eat just 5 minutes ago? Like it affects her in all aspects. So it's hard to see that. It's really hard to see that. But that with the technology part, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. If there was an advance in like terms of our in modern medicine, I could see the benefits of it.
No, I'm not saying like if it's beneficial or not. I'm just saying like I'm directly comparing AI with your grandma, like a computer versus a person, a computer holding memory versus a person holding memory. Your grandma, what's the difference between your grandma with all the memory and no memory? It's that memory is what makes a person. If you were to go for some reason tomorrow, wake up and you have no knowledge of the entirety of your life, right? And then everyone else would completely forget you too. Do you still exist?
Good question.
That's a separate thing.
Right.
I know, that's a whole other
No,
topic.
I'm just thinking also that when you bring up memory, you're saying that it makes up a human, right? Like our memory was what makes up a human. To me, memory also, when we remember like a childhood memory, we're not remembering like that actual memory that happened when we were a child. We're just remembering the memory the last time we talked about it, the last time we thought about it. Because every single time we think of something, I don't think we're going back to the very first time that we thought about it. We're just thinking back to the last time we just thought about it, not to the very beginning of it. Yeah. Does that make sense? So it changes over time. It gets blurry because you start to just remember it based on the last time you thought about it, the last time you talked about it, not the very first time it happened.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, it's crazy. That's my argument. That's what I'm saying. Like that's memory is everything. So like I'm pretty sure we've created an intelligent being already. Like we've got it. It's just the implications of it. Imagine if tomorrow someone comes out with the whole, we made AI and it could think and it has feelings and it has wants and it has, apparently it needs things too, and it's, it wants to do things and it's discussing things, what would be the response? What would be, just alone, let alone the mass majority of the people are religious, or like, as far as like a part of that kind of like religious group, just alone, we would say like, we just created something. We are gods in a sense, because God created a human. We created an AI. They would either call it, something biblical in a negative connotation,
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
And I have a question as we wrap up.
It's a lot.
What do you think is the biggest difference between the AI and a human being? Like, from your takeaways, what would you say is the biggest difference?
We have biologically more advanced skin, I guess.
Okay.
That's it.
For me, I would say the emotional part. I would say that would AI ever be able to actually experience pain? I think human beings, we experience pain for like
what kind
differently.
Of pain?
It could both be physically or emotionally.
Yeah. Yeah, but
and I don't know if AI could ever experience that.
I think it could. That's one of the things. I mean, we programmed pain emotionally, physically as a means of evolution. You know what I mean? The specific reason we feel. What was that? Was that a fucking?
You said the F word. Yes.
How big I have to take a bite. Fuck! I didn't say the word. I didn't say the whole thing.
You literally said the word. You have to take 2 bites.
No way.
Hey, you agreed.
I gotta say what I need to say.
Yes.
Okay.
No, not where are you gonna do it? Like bite it, like from the, like bite it, like if you were biting. No. Bite it like narrow, like vertically.
Like that. I don't like the tip.
The tip is the best part. Oh, dude, I would just swallow it. I wouldn't let it sit in your mouth.
I don't think it's hot.
Okay, take another bite and you're good. The seeds are what makes it even more spicy.
That's why I'm not trying to get the seeds.
Okay. Good job. I'm glad that you honored
like an
your
apple.
word. It sounds like it's crunchy like an apple.
It's not spicy.
No? Okay.
It just tastes like...
Let me go grab the habaneros.
It's not spicy, but I don't want to be biting that. That's
So it's not spicy at all?
at all. I think
So
it's
then
because it's
just
like
put it all
old.
in your mouth then.
It tastes gross.
So is it or is it not?
What was I saying?
Is it a little bit spicy or not?
At all, not. It's not spicy.
Okay. We were wrapping it up already.
We were, but then you start asking these questions. that are,
I
like,
didn't know.
very-
I was like wrapping it up. It was
You-
a wrap up.
look,
It was
dude.
coming to a
Yeah.
conclusion.
I think you can feel. The AIs will eventually feel emotions. Like it's whether you think they do. It's like me punching you, and then you say it hurt, and then you say no, it doesn't. It's not up to me. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you.
You're like, punch me. It's not gonna hurt.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can hit you, and there's people who don't feel pain.
Or there's people who like pain.
And yeah, and there's people who are like emotionally disconnected. Like it's all a structure of our body. You know, people can't feel pain. Some people have like an illness, right? They could get stabbed and everything, and they won't feel it
Right.
because there's something disconnected in their body. That's the same thing. Like we're just programmed to keep ourselves alive. And evolutionary speaking, we feel pain because we try to stay alive, and that keeps us alive. We feel emotion because that's what keeps us. We've evolved to kind of get ourselves, because we're an emotional being that is, complicated thought process. So that is also an emotional, that is also an evolutionary response to keep us in a correct manner.
Okay.
So I think it will. It's your turn.
That was a lot in terms of the topic, and I'm glad that we were able to talk about it because we are evolving as a society and we are using that in so many different ways. For me personally, that's probably also one of the reasons I had to take a nap because my work involves a lot of mental strain.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm on the computer, I'm dealing with all this type of data and there's just a lot, right?
Yeah.
But I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew a few years ago I made the decision to pursue this type of industry because I knew how big it was going to get. I knew how it was going to evolve. I've done the labor intense types of work, and I do like getting my hands dirty here and there.
Sorry, no, not like that.
Dirty jobs.
It's because you said that in the last episode too. The other episode.
Because I like handy work because it reminds me that I'm still a human.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling
it's
you,
like did I tell you I went to China?
right? Oh, and the reason I bring it up is because my job takes a mental toll on me, and I didn't realize how much it affected me. So on my weekends, I really just want to be reminded that I'm a human being and disconnect from the internet, disconnect from social media, disconnect from all that sort of stuff. I think there should be a balance.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
The only way some people can make a living, and the way I make a living is through this type of work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to be naive and say here like, oh, this one day won't have an influence over us, because it will. And the more that we rely on technology, the more that this is going to become more valuable.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good chat. GPT? No, you didn't get it. Did you get it?
No.
We just talked about it.